Yeah, I didn't exercise faith in that moment. I exercised good wisdom and good judgment.
Hey Faith fam, welcome back to my channel. This is Linaebu. I do a lot of faith-based content, family lifestyle, so come on, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell so you won't miss a chance. Anytime I upload a video every Friday. So today I just was going to sit here and talk with you on how this everything came about, faith it till you make it. So I was in Ross and I love to journal. So I was in Ross and I seen this notebook. Oh yeah, shout out to Ross. I love this store. But I seen this notebook. It's called Faith It Till You Make It. I don't know if you can see that, but I had to pick it up not only because I wanted to journal, but just to look at it. And I was thinking about it because at the time I was going through something really challenging, and I was like, faith it till you make it. What does that mean? And I'm like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. So not faking it, but having faith that God has already went before you and he's going to work this situation out and it's going to be done. So I'm going to have faith and trust that whatever I'm believing is going to work out for my good. So I'm like, that's basically what I decided to try to live my life by, basically just having faith and trusting God and believing for whatever it is that I'm believing it for, even if it's crazy, because God has bigger plans than I do. But just having faith and trusting God that I can have faith until I see what I am seeing. I seen this wonderful quote that my husband sent me, as well as my sister. I'll link it up here in the cards for you. But basically, Pastor Mike Jr. said, you have to see a thing before you can see a thing. And I'm like, that is exactly what this Faith It Till You Make It series means for me. You have to actually see what you're believing for. Believe and trust that God is going to provide for you and do whatever it is that you're asking for, if it aligns up with his will, and you will go from there. But babe, what does faith it till you make it mean to you?
So, what is faith it till you make it, man? Um, I remember when I initially heard faith it till you make it. I was like, I don't want to fake it till I make it. And then, I realized what she was saying is faith it till you make it. And kind of just took a step back and like, okay, what does faith it till you make it means to me? And as I just started thinking about it, I mean, what it means to me is, look, we're not always in every situation gonna feel faith. There's gonna be times where we're weary. There's gonna be times where doubt creep in. There's gonna be times where, you don't even know if God is gonna do the thing. But I believe that's why faith it till you make it becomes so critical. I can remember in God's word where an individual said, Lord, help my unbelief. I believe what he was essentially saying was, Lord, help me to, whenever I feel weak within my own self, to continue to reach, continue to trust, and not only what I can see, but what I've known you to do and be so many times before. And so, faith it till you make it is essentially saying that, you know what, Lord, I don't understand how things are going to work themselves out. I don't even know what's ahead, but I trust, based on what I've experienced and based on what I've seen time and time and time again in my life, that although I don't know, you do. And so faith it till you make it is about understanding that you don't always feel like your faith is there. You don't always feel like, oh man, I just know. And sometimes you need to borrow and muster faith to just keep going, to keep pushing, to keep trusting.
What is borrow faith?
Borrow faith, borrow faith is when you essentially, you know what, I'm not feeling myself. I'm not feeling like if I'm just being completely honest, I'm not feeling like I have faith. I can give a short story about how recently I was going through a situation, and me and my wife was praying about a situation, and I was so wrapped up into my feelings, I was so wrapped up into my emotions, I wanted to be angry in that moment. I didn't want to have faith. I didn't want to feel like God was going to work it out. I just wanted to be angry about what had happened to me.
That's real.
But immediately after that, after she prayed, a friend called me. And a friend helped me to process what was going on, how I was feeling. And all it took was that moment to borrow faith from somebody that can see above, that can see outside of my emotions and how I was feeling, to realize, like, no, God, this didn't happen on accident. This didn't happen because you took a nap. No, this was a part of your will. And so I borrowed faith in the sense that I needed to be lifted when I wasn't feeling it in that moment. But what it in terms did, God was showing me that even in the midst of that, I'm not moved by your emotions. It's not that I don't care, but I understand sometimes you're just not feeling it. And so borrowing faith for me is reaching and having that person that you can call when you're not feeling your best. I don't know. Maybe this channel, maybe Faith It to Make It, is you borrowing until you feel like that. Because I've done that. I've gotten a phone call. And so I hope for you that through this, you would understand that because things aren't changing right now does not mean that God isn't working. It doesn't mean that God doesn't see you. It doesn't mean that God has somehow pushed you to the back burner, pushed you to the back of the file cabinet. No, it doesn't mean that at all. So my encouragement to you through this would be, look at that beat. That beat was big. You seen that?
I did.
Hit the recorder. We're going to edit that out. And yeah, I didn't exercise faith in that moment. I exercised good wisdom and good judgment. And I ran in the house. So, yeah, we happen to be, doing this and filming this on our patio. And I would definitely say there is a lot of nature out here in the backyard. Babe, you want to show them? Like this tree here?
Sure.
Yeah, so like this tree here.
I'm trying to get it to focus. How do I focus it?
Here, let's see. Yeah, when you move it, you have to refocus it. So, yeah, you see this big tree that we got in our backyard? Yeah, we like to have friends that come out those trees. But that's all, folks. I love y'all. Y'all be encouraged. Faith until you make it. And we're out.